All right, here's our first. This is the first ever voicemail we're going to be reading live on the show. If you want to leave one for the show to be read out, maybe on this episode or a future episode, you can call 347-470-9423. Let me put that in here. There we go.
Hey, Lev. My name's Brad. I'm calling from Newfoundland, Canada, middle of nowhere.
Can you guys hear that? Is that coming through? Do we hear Brad from Newfoundland? He sounds like a polite guy already. I like this guy. Canadians are so fucking likable. Is Newfoundland in Canada? I think I have him turned up as literally as loud as it'll go. So let's see.
Actually, your buddy Ryan Long was just up here, did a date a couple months ago, I think, maybe back in October. I'd definitely ask him about it because this place sucks, so I'm sure he's got some great stories.
But by the way, I love that we can hear already that that Brad's a little nervous, and I fucking would be too. You know what I mean? I love that we don't know what these shows are. Like, we've never done a voicemail before. The first one could literally be just we hear it and we just trash this guy. We dox him. We put his phone number out. We find out where he lives. He's taking a real risk. So shout out to Brad fucking doing it. So he went and saw Ryan Long in Newfoundland. Shout out to Ryan. We love Ryan Long. And let's keep it going.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in my question for you. It's a pretty stupid one, but so I'm a writer. I like to do short stories mostly, but I'm trying to get into doing maybe like a full novella, manuscript. Anyway, real quick.
I love that he was like, I'm a writer, trying to write a short story, full novel, manuscript, maybe monologue, maybe something somebody leaves after a shooting. You know, whatever. I'm writing something. We don't know what it's going to be yet.
Sure, but I guess my biggest problem is, even while I'm kind of...
What do you call it? What is people... A manifesto. That's what it is. If I was funnier, I would have had that word ready.
In the middle of a creative thing or pursuit. The thing I struggle with most sometimes is just taking myself seriously and maybe having that confidence to just be like, I am a writer or an artist. I don't know, that sounds real mullish, but yeah, maybe you've got some great advice for me.
Maybe I don't.
You've got a pretty remarkable amount of confidence, so I would love to hear your advice on taking yourself seriously as an artist. All right, thanks, Les. Love the show.
I mean, all right. Thank you, Brad, for calling in. Does this guy not sound like the nicest guy in the world? I mean, what a cool guy. This has got to be like, I mean, that's clearly like all of Danny Polishuk's and Ryan Long's fans that come and listen to this show are like, they're all like that. They're cool as hell. So anyways, this guy writes, he's working on a big manifesto. He's about to send a bunch of anthrax to some politicians or whatever. But he wants to know why he doesn't feel good calling himself a writer. Here's what, what's funny is like with comedy, with comedians, if somebody decides they want to do comedy, they're like, I think I could do comedy. They go on their Instagram and immediately write comedian in their bio before they've even been on stage. Once they've been on a stage one time on one open mic, they're like, that's it. That's what I do. I'm a comedian. The world saw it. I fucking did it. That's what comics are like. I've like written some shit, nothing like good, like horrible pilots, stuff like that. I would be very hesitant to call myself a writer just because it seems like we definitely treat writers with a lot more respect. You know what I mean? If you tell somebody a writer, you're a writer, people are like, holy shit. You picture Hemingway, you picture this guy fucking in a coffee shop. This guy knows something about the world. He's got something to say. Comedians, you're like, well, this is some fucking ass clown. Who gives a shit? You don't expect comedians to be good. You expect writers to be good if somebody tells you they're a writer. I think that in general, I think the more confident you are of being like, no, I'm a fucking writer. That's what I do. Like, if you tell yourself that, I think your writing will be more confident as well. Like, I think that will bleed through. So I would just do that and not really worry about it. I think you just mentally go, I'm a writer. That's what I am. If you want to put it on your social media, do whatever the fuck you want to do and just let it go. Stop thinking about it. When you have that thought in your brain, like, who do you think you are? Are you really a writer? Just like go, yeah, use that to go like, I should probably go write something right now. And then you write a threatening email to your ex. Little practice. You know what I mean? Is that fair? I think that's fair. So I think that, I mean, other than that, do we have any other advice for this guy, chat? I love how bloodthirsty this crowd is. Everybody, all caps, let's trash him. Give us his number. But yeah, dude, just call yourself a writer. Who gives a hell? Also, that's got to help on dates 100%. You know, you're sitting across the bar with some chick. She's like, what do you do? You're like, well, I'm a bit of a writer, you know? She's like, really? You texted me like 4 emojis. I thought you were gay. Yeah, you know. What are you going to do? Maybe if you're lucky, you'll end up in a story. She doesn't know it's like it's a news story. Woman found beheaded in Newfoundland. But yeah, thank you guys. Hemingway wrote 5 hours a day. Each day he would stop before he stopped knowing what the next sentence would be. Yeah, he wrote a book that I tried to read. I think it was called The Movable Feast or something like that. What a surprise. Lev reads a book about a feast. What, do you think it was a cookbook? I already know where your guys' heads are at. It's called something like that. It's all about, he's got little things in it about how he writes, and he talks about like little tricks he learned to like not deplete himself creatively, you know? Because I think what a lot of people try to do is they're like, I'm going to write today. And then they spend like fucking 4 hours just banging their head on the wall, and then they never write again for a year, which is like kind of what I do with stand-up pretty much. And he was talking about like avoiding that and trying to set those kind of traps away. So I think that was pretty solid advice for Brad. What do you guys think? Did we just save Brad's life? Did we fix him?